me, and we call him cool because, or we call him a kid because I think he's still young at heart, very, very fresh. He goes by the name of Mr. Christian Martin, and he happens to be the chairperson of the Eastern Cape Geographic name change. He's also the leader of the Khoisans. Good morning, Sir Howard.
Good morning, ma'am, and good morning.
It's actually afternoon. I'm not just saying good morning. It's afternoon.
Oh, shame. We lost track of the beautiful program.
That's the thing. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well. And yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. Listen, can you tell us what the process of name changing is? How does that work?
Yes. If I may start by why name changing.
Yes.
The reason for that is if we look at the South African political context where we come from. You see, there was a time in our country starting from the 1400 during colonization to 1652, going even to our apartheid years of the 1900s and so forth, 1948. So there was a sense from the colonialists and the apartheid initiators to colonialize our country's names, streets, and so forth. That was to make our country more Dutch, more English. And with that, we have actually marginalized our other people of the country. Before 1994, there was no sense of the diversity and the richness of our country, you know. And after 1994, we started to make South Africa a country for all people. We were very concentrating on social cohesion, knowing about each other's culture, knowing about each other's language, and so forth. And if you can still remember Tata Bishop Desmond Tutu,
yes.
Through the TRC, there's one moment during his time in the TRC when he just broke into tears. Now that is the finding moment of South Africa, where a person actually became aware how cruel, how evil this thing called colonialism and apartheid was. Now we would take that moment and we have to turn it around so that everybody can feel belonging, identity, shared culture, shared language, and all those type of things. Now that moment of Tata Desmond Tutu said it all. And then through the TRC reports that he handed over to the former President Nelson Mandela, within that document, there was one recommendation that we should actually use the opportunity to make South Africa one, you know, so that it belongs to all, identify with everybody, and we can share a culture. So the Truth and Reconciliation Commission recommended that we must use even names of people that have made sacrifices to this new South Africa, founding South Africa.
Yes.
Because the reason why I made that recommendation, if we had to pay new monetary wise, everybody that sacrificed, let's take the Craddock Four, let's take the Steve Bikos of the day, and so I can go on. If we have to say is that, let's put amount against the lives lost. Let's put amount of money against the sacrifices made. We would never be able to do that. But to honor them is actually to name places after them, to create statues after them, you know, and that is what they came up that we should do. And that is what this committee is busy doing. So that is only from the Truth and Reconciliation part as a recommendation that do this. But then we can go further back as to the United Nations. Even during the United Nations, they said that countries that were colonialized, to decolonialize those countries, they must come up with name changes. You must remember that when we talk about colonialization, it was cruel and it was evil and it was inhumane. It even went as far as those that colonialized us through the war and through the army, is that person that brutally killed us, murdered us, they will take his name and put it in that area that he have won, that is his victory, as to keep that name as remembrance to the indigenous people of that area of what happened and who made it happen. You see, so if you look at those names like Grahamstown. And so I can go on and on and on with this evil names. People that says that we will make sure that that this area called Grahamstown will be filled with indigenous blood when we finish with you. And what they have done to make ourselves extinct. You must never forget, and sometimes people do forget. If I remember, it was 1996 when Thabo Mbeki came up with the most beautifulest poetic speech. I am an African. And if you look at that speech and the depth of that speech, it says that we were murdered and killed until the brink of extinction. Now you know what extinction means.
Well,
Now,
no
if
more.
you talk about the brink, it means it is almost no more, as you rightfully said. So let us never forget the intention of the colonialists, the intentions of the founders of apartheid was there to extinct and to kill and destroy culture, identity, and the who I am. And it was the Steve Biko's, it was the Robert Sobukwe's, it was the Winnie Madikizela Mandela's, and so forth and so on that came and say, no, we must share the South Africa. And therefore today we have an institution called South African Geographical Names Council, under which the provincial geographical name committees fall
Sure.
in the provinces,
Sure.
and then we can bring it down to the municipalities.
Okay.
Now, for us, we want to share identity. The question that we should pose to ourselves is, what is in a name? What is in a name is so important. Why did your mother give you that particular name?
Sure.
Because the day when things are really bad, you go back to your name. There is worth in a name. There's worth in our country's names given. In the past, names was given to scare us and to remind us that there will never be such a thing than us together. Today, the new South Africa come in. Although I have this feeling that we are 31 years late of changing names. We are 31 years late because this should have been a program 31 years ago that we went on and on and on until we share this. Now, the question comes back. What is in a name?
Okay.
In a name is your dignity. In a name is your identity. In a name is your pride.
Yeah.
And that is so important.
Yeah.
To have a name like Kwama,
Sure.
just to have a name like Kwamatoma.
Yes.
A name you can identify with. A name that you can say, I belong to Kwamatoma wherever you go. You understand? And that is the beauty of the names that has been given. You can proudly say, Mna, I come from Kabeja.
Yes.
I am proud of Kabeja.
Yeah.
The city of plenty, many waters and many trees. That is where I'm from, and I'm proud to announce that.
Now, before I talk about the process, because I feel like, you've unpacked a lot as we've gone by. But before we talk about the process, what do you have to say to the naysayers that say, this is a waste of money? There's so many other things that are important that we can use this money for. But now you're wasting money changing the names of cities, of towns, changing the names of historical places, of museums. What do you have to say to those people?
You see, we must not be found wanted as the indigenous people of this country. It is strange that the same people can ask you and tell you about waste of money, but they forget now in the new South Africa, we consult when we change names. They've never consulted with us. They've never consulted us. And it's the strangest thing that for 48 years, after you change our indigenous names, now you can decide that we are wasting money that could have been used for other things. You never reminded yourself that we come from gutter education. When you change our names, the same money could have been used for our gutter education. Remember, we stayed 48 years in shacks, in chochombos, wherever we stayed. You never remind yourself then that it's a waste of money to change names and put us into townships without houses. Why didn't you use that money then to build us proper houses? Name changes is a must. Name changes is not a waste of money. Because then you would say that the life of Steve Biko, the life of George Botha, the life of Mr. Jafta Favrenet was a waste. It was never a waste.
Right.
For me, as a Khoi and San descendant, everything has been taken away from me. Giving me back an indigenous name makes me feel part of this new South Africa. I can't be part coming from Tobega, Port Elizabeth. Who's Elizabeth? Elizabeth was a lady, the wife of Sir Ruffin Donkin, that never once set foot in Port Elizabeth. Leave my South Africa. In Port, she died, and for him it was the greatest way of showing his love
To her.
But there was no love for us. Now there's love for all of us. Changing a name is not for a certain group of people. Changing a name is for all of us.
It's inclusive.
And it's inclusive. That's the word. You see the beauty of this thing called tangibles and intangibles. In South Africa, you have tangibles, deliverables. It's things that you can feel, that you can see with the eye.
Sure.
That is our schools, our clinics, our libraries, our museums.
Our hospitals.
That is our hospitals. That is tangible. The intangible one is in my heart, my pride, my identity, my dignity. You can't see it, but it's scarred. And by the name changing of my oppressor, then I can feel today I am part of the general South African populace than just one standing outside. So all of those that are naysayers, as you rightfully say, strange enough, the beauty of it, they are the most best pronouncers of the Tabegas.
Yeah.
They are the most best pronouncers of the Kwamakomas. It's just a matter of time. You see, the biggest challenge of human beings is they can't adapt easily to change.
Yeah.
They must be forced at sometimes to change.
Yeah.
It's like a book that I've read. You know, Who Moved My Cheese? Now, Who Moved My Cheese is about, you can obviously say cheese. Who moved it is a mouse.
Sure.
If you put something there, a mouse will run one direction, change, just put something in front of the direction, then it becomes a little bit afraid. What happened now?
Yeah.
And it's the same phenomenon. You know,
Yeah.
we are just more matured and civilized animals than Who Moved My Cheese, the mouse. But as I say, we are getting there. Listen to other radio stations, Afrikaans radio stations. Then you'd hear Afrikaans people pronouncing Kabega, Kariga, Kwamakoma. You know, all these names, they pronounce it perfect.
Wow.
It's just a matter of time.
Okay. Let's talk about the process of name changing. How does that come about? How long does it take? What is that journey?
Yeah. Thank you for that. That is actually the most important question, as you started actually with it, but it's just me going all over the place, you know. But let me answer that one. You see, what happens is an individual can come and apply for a name change on a form. There's forms available, your municipality, your local name changing committees there is there, even ourselves in the provinces, but in this case, the Eastern Cape Provincial Geographical Names Committee. You can go onto our web pages, you can go onto the South African Geographical Names Council, you can go to the Eastern Cape Provincial Geographical Names Committee. You will find the latest form there as an individual. But then as a foundation, as other groups in the community, you can come together and you can make a decision to say, we want to change the name of this city, Fort Beaufort, to Kwamatoma, you know, and then you fill in your form. There's a few questions. You know what is the beautiful part of the form? It's not difficult.
It's simple.
It's so simple.
For everyone.
Really, really. You know what happens is, it's like, for instance, purpose, name change, old name, new name, reason, motivate, you know, things like that. So that is what you fill in, you send it off to us, and we will even come to you to assist you further in completing the form where we feel there's omissions, you know. So that is the start of this form. After we receive the form, we will register the form. We have a secretariat, Mark Mandita, Linda, and all of these people are part of the secretariat, you know, Nandi and Kuma them. So they will get the form, register it, and when we look at it, we will inform the local municipality. Remember, not ask permission. we inform them that there's this notion that there's application that come to us.
Sure.
After doing that, we will even request the municipality to assist us with we call it stakeholder engagements.
Okay.
So the stakeholders is all those NGOs, political parties, business, and so forth within that specific community. We will call them first. We will inform them. The important word here is inform them that an application came under our attention. We just want to make you aware of that. After informing them, we might ask them what is the best time to have public hearings for that matter. That means we are now going out to the broader community.
Sure.
Everybody is welcome.
So everyone can have a say.
Everyone can have a say. So we put up posters. We go to radio stations like a Keith Ngesi radio station. We go to yourself and you assist us with telling people about it, the date, the time, the where. And in that public meeting, ours is just to inform. And then the community will say how they feel about it. But if there's something I must make clear to our community and our stakeholders, you can't have a name where it is so filled with apartheid, colonialism, and death and negativity. And then you want to say, let's go over in a vote. And that name stands because some people have the resources. Some people have laptops, computers, data, and everything. There's other people, the poorest of the poor, that don't have that. And when you start with petitions, you can go international with a petition. And the poor person on the ground can't do that.
It's not fair play.
It's not fair play. So at the end of the day, what we are doing is to make sure that everybody has been heard. Everybody's informed. After that public meeting, we come together. We package it. We call the committee of the ECPGNC together. We go through everything. We gather all our research information. Remember, we are the richest province when it comes to tertiary institutions.
Yes.
I think we have about 6 of them here.
Yes.
You know, and we call all of that research information together, package it to say is that this is what we have. We can't make decision, but this is the information we have. And then the committee, the broader committee will decide we have done our job. We send that back to the South African Geographical Names Council. There's a small committee there, ERCTA, Education, Research, Consultation, Training, and the A is for
Association.
Awareness.
Okay.
Awareness. Yeah. Thank you for that. So when we send it to them, they will go through the whole package and
Sure.
see that there's no loopholes, there's no omissions or whatever. After ERCTA have passed that, then it will go to the broader council.
Okay.
I'm talking Council of South African Geographic Names Council now, the big one. So it will go in front of them. They will also look now at everything is covered. And if they okay that application, they will send it to the minister.
Okay.
And the minister will apply his mind. And the minister will make a decision for or against.
Okay.
And after the minister made that decision, even if it's for, even if it's against, the minister will gazette it. And then people, if it's finished gazetted, then people will still have 30 days to appeal and object. So whatever comes out of the appeal, whatever comes out of the objections, the minister will make that final decisions. Because you sometimes, as you rightfully started from the beginning, people will object by saying, no, there's potholes, there's not enough houses, there's not enough toilets. But there's departments mandated to do that function. So when it comes to potholes, when it comes to toilets and houses, that you must do in your IDP process with the municipality. All those service tangible deliverables have their own departments that must work with it. Ours is to change or not to change names through the minister. So it's about name change. It's an intangible. It's the one that you can't see, but it's the emotional one that makes or break you.
Now, I know that the PE airport, for example, is named after Chief DeWitt Stearman, right? And I mean, he's from Khoisan background. I know that you of a Khoisan background. You're a leader of the Khoisans, and I just want to know, what are other Khoisan leaders that you think are important that we should shine a light on, that maybe are forgotten, that are not necessarily known, and that maybe we should change and name institutions, after them?
Can I make a? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
You see, there's I'm not going to go broad.
Okay.
I'm going to stop right here in KwaMatoma, right here.
Sure.
You know, I went into the museum. People must visit this museum.
Yes.
What a beautiful institution. But Nkosi KwaMatoma was the great leader. You'll be amazed who was the greatest behind him. It was Umamakaiki. Umamakaiki was a koi as koi can be.
Hectic.
Now I'm asking myself, here is social coercion at its best. And you ask the question about more names. There is Mama Kaiji, the wife of Unkosi KwaMatoma. You know, Matoma.
Yes.
The point I'm making there is, look at this great lady. You know, if this town next year have to celebrate, what is this where you wear red,
Traditional.
red clothes? February.
Valentine.
You can see I'm getting old.
It's like red
I'm getting
clothes.
old now. So I don't even remember Valentine. They should actually make Utata Makoma and Mama Kaichi their theme. Listen to this one, why Valentine next year should be in their honor.
Okay.
You know, Umama Kaichi left for Robben Island. She stayed there for 12 years. She stayed at Robben Island near to her husband. She was not apprehended, incarcerated for any deed, but the love and standing behind the husband. Ma'am, you don't get that loyalty anymore.
Not anymore.
You know, 12 years, you go there by Robben Island, your husband is on the island, you're just there.
You don't even really see
Pamela,
him.
the two of you just know about that is love.
Yeah.
That is the purest form of agape, unconditional God love.
Epitome of love.
You make it worse. So if you look at it,
Yeah.
there's a mother, there's a grandmother, a great-grandmother, whose name can be given to the same street that the museum is in.
Yes.
That is like Tata Matoma being the museum inside Robben Island, and Umama being on the street, very close by, but actually nearby. So if I have to change anything in this KwaMatoma area, it would be the street. They call it the urban street.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that is what they can actually do, is to bring the two closer together and to give honor to Mama Kaiki. What a great woman.
Wonderful. Lastly, before I let you go, because I'm getting time there, before I let you go, because another thing where I can see is that we can speak forever. We can just speak.
Of course.
Before I let you go, being a Khoisan is something that is not necessarily like known, these days, and people don't even know, because I believe I might have like a Khoisan.
I can see your cheekbones.
Thank you,
I
and my
can see
eyes.
your sloobiness. I
Right?
can see the eyes.
Right? I honestly believe that I have some
You must
history.
come home.
I have some history there.
Yes.
But it's not something that, we are well informed about. Are there places that we can go to and we can search? I'm not talking about where we can search where other people have given us information. I'm talking about Khoisan people giving us Khoisan information.
You see, in KwaMatoma, there is Khoisan leaders.
Okay.
Yeah. If you look at the Kats River here nearby, there was a great person also from Khoisan descent, a general in his time. So there is some Khoisan lineage within this area. My recommendation also to the board, to the council of the museum, was that they need to do what you are saying now, because when I went through, I saw that there was nothing actually mentioned, raised about the Khoisan. You know that Khoisan are very known for their rock art. They are very known for the medicinal plants. They are very known for rain we can make rain, we have a strong belief and so forth. I know that in the olden days, we were told that every royal house had a koi or a sun medicine person there. I know that even today, that if Nguni people give birth, they will sort see for a Khoisan woman, or as we call them, coloreds today, to come and do the bottle, of medicines, the baby, to rub the baby with all these medicines to be strong and so forth. So yeah, the Khoisan is still around. Yeah, I'm sitting live in front of you. As a Khoisan, as you say, the awareness part needs to come out more strong. But we are working through government and other organizations to do exactly that.
Last message before you go. What is the takeaway on this year's International Museum Day?
You see, the International Museums Day, I when I thought about it, I said to myself, it's bringing back the past, into the future, so that we can learn of it and from it. And our children from an early age needs to be exposed to these things. Schools, like in the olden days, they had specific days during the year that they take and bus the children to museums. There was a time in South Africa where we have to go to museums where the Bushmen were just showed there as a freak. Like Sarah Baartman, but today, when we stand and we are around people, we are proud descendants of the Bushmen. We are proud descendants of the Khoi. So all that we are asking is that the message is, let schools be involved and in charge of museums.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for unpacking that. I think I learned a lot personally, and I hope our listeners also, learned a lot. You were invaluable today.
Yeah.
Thank you so
for
much.
your radio station, Keith Ngezi, and I know him since he started, and he's doing really a great job for the Eastern Cape in particular, South Africa in general, when it comes to communicating and this awareness that is doing. And I wish you all the blessings.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Okay, and that's how we're going to